Hello, everybody. We are back for Chapter 6 of Fortune Falls by Jenny Goebel. This video, read aloud, is posted with permission from Scholastic Inc. Lightning strikes. My knees buckled, and I struggled for air as panic truly set in. I'd broken a mirror. 7 years of bad luck. It would be a hefty, suffocating curse for someone with halfway decent luck. For someone like me, it was practically a death sentence. As the tingle at the base of my neck spread across my skin and my heart pounded in my ears, I thought, I'll never pass the test now. I may not even live to take it. The dark sky rumbled with deep, unsettling rolls of thunder as I slid down the ladder, hardly bothering with the rungs, and staggered onto the grass. Sadie, Cooper called after me. Wait! Wait? I couldn't wait. I couldn't be anywhere near him. Whatever dark force I'd summoned with my mishap, it had drawn back the storm. I knew it would bowl right through Cooper just to get to me. Run! My head screamed, louder than Cooper and louder than the thunder. Run, Sadie, run! I felt the hair on my arms lifting to stand on end, and I turned my eyes to the heavens, fully expecting lightning to strike me down. As I sprinted across his lawn and into the grassy field behind it, I tried to think of nothing else but putting distance between myself and Cooper. Fallen twigs and bramble clawed at my legs as I ran. A flash of light illuminated everything around me. Then, boom! The earth rattled and the sound of thunder echoed in my ears. Even when I heard crackling and smelled smoke, I didn't stop running. Squatting down and tucking your head between your knees only works if the lightning isn't actually aiming for you. I did stick to the lower ground, however, and I avoided the taller trees and, of course, the stream. I didn't truly believe I'd make it home alive, but somehow I did. Sneaking back in seemed pointless, so I crashed through the front door and slammed it shut behind me. Then I darted through the house, sliding curtains closed and unplugging all the electrical cords as I went. One advantage of not having a lot of money, there weren't that many things to unplug. My mom stepped out of Petey's room, seeming addled and more than a little bit afraid as she said my name. Sadie? What's going on? Just then a clap of thunder rattled the windows and sent a tremor of vibration through the house. A loud whine came from the bathtub. Bathtubs aren't actually the safest places during electrical storms, but just try telling that to Wink. I opened my mouth to speak, but then closed it again, not sure how much I should tell her. Knowing would just fill her with dread, and like me, she had a big test coming soon. She was one exam away from her nursing degree, and she didn't need any added distractions. Besides, there wasn't anything she could do about the mirror I'd broken. Mom? Sadie? Petey called from his bedroom. Just a minute, Mom called back. Her eyes were coming into focus, and she was staring at me like she knew there was something weird about this storm. She just wasn't sure what. It's okay. You should go check on him, I said. And then I thought to myself, I shouldn't. I bolted for the stairs before she could fire off any questions about where I'd been and why the storm seemed to be knocking at her door, stalking her only daughter. At least that's what it felt like to me. It was a childish thing to do, but I ran straight for my bed and pulled my covers up over my head, waiting for the storm to die down. I lay in wide-eyed silence, quivering with each new flash of light, quaking with the thunderous clap that always followed. I lay there for what seemed like an eternity, but eventually the flashes became less and less frequent and then ended altogether. Like a beast, it has finally fallen asleep, I thought. Just to be certain, I waited another 5 minutes after the last angry boom to peek my head out from under the covers. The danger seemed to have passed for the moment, but if there was one thing I knew, it was that bad luck didn't ever just go away, and it wouldn't sleep for long. It might wait and fester, but it never forgot to come for you once it'd been stirred. In Fortune Falls, no inauspicious act went unpunished, from a stroll under a ladder to accidentally opening an umbrella indoors. The broken mirror could mean 7 years of bad luck, throwing hard, haphazard punches, or it might just decide to deal me a knockout blow tomorrow. I had no way of knowing, no crystal ball. What I did know was that I was more of a threat to people around me than ever. I recalled another story I'd heard about a teenage girl who'd broken a mirror. Her entire family had been sucked into a sinkhole. Mere hours after she'd thrown and consequently shattered a contraband compact mirror at school, after breaking up with the slimy boyfriend who'd given it to her, they were all dead. Mom and Petey were upstairs. What if the earth decided to open up and devour them right along with me? My heart twisted inside my chest. I had to get out. I slid down and dug my school bag from underneath the bed. I dumped out my red homework folder, a few pencils, a textbook, and an eraser. Then I ran to my dresser. As quickly as I could, I crammed in jeans, t-shirts, socks, and clean underwear. I paused at the ballet shoes strung over a knob. It wasn't like I even danced anymore, so what good would they do me? What good had they ever done me? My father had insisted on enrolling me in ballet school shortly after my 4th birthday, even though we couldn't afford the lessons. He said it would improve my balance, fewer stumbles, fewer disasters. He drove me to every class and patched the rips in my leotard before each recital. At the same time, my mom enrolled in nursing school. Dad had desperately been looking for ways to prevent accidents, and Mom, for her part, had decided on a career that would teach her how to treat the bumps, bruises, and broken bones she knew couldn't be avoided. For all their good intentions, neither one of them could help me now. Scurrying up to the kitchen, I tossed in 2 of the 3 remaining apples and the half-eaten bag of cheesy puffs. I'm sure Petey would want me to have them if he knew I'd been on my own. Then I quietly crept out the front door. I just stood there for a minute, my heart thudding, my pulse racing, wondering, what now? It's not like I could leave Fortune Falls. Unluckies gave up on trying long ago. Tires always blew at the edge of town. People suffered strokes and heart attacks just as they were about to cross over city limits. Like bad luck, there was no escaping it. Even people with mediocre luck didn't want to risk it. As for the luckies, they could probably leave, but why would they want to? I glanced up. The sky was pitch black overhead. No stars meant heavy clouds, but I didn't see any spindly fingers of lightning either. Even if I didn't know where I was headed, I needed to get as far as possible from the people I cared about while I still had a chance. I took one step, then another. I made it almost to the end of the drive before I noticed a small, dark form sitting there, waiting. It took a second for my mind to register what I was seeing. A scraggly creature with short, pointy ears and yellow eyes, surveying me with a steady gaze. A cat. Cats weren't allowed in Fortune Falls anymore. Not any, let alone this one with fur the color of ravens. At one time, people had been allowed to keep cats as pets, but every now and then, someone would harbor a darkly colored kitten instead of turning it in for disposal. After too much heartache, too many deaths caused by crossing a black cat's path, all cats were banned. Now, like bunnies, they're extremely rare in Fortune Falls, but for an entirely different reason. I had a personal vendetta against black cats. If only they'd all been eliminated, then maybe. But I couldn't stop to think about that. I didn't have time, and the memory was too painful. Instead, I glared and stomped my foot, but the cat refused to move on, refused to drop her yellow gaze. A tremble ran down my spine, and bile rose in my throat. I couldn't possibly pass her, break a mirror, and then cross a black cat's path all in the same night. That would certainly be the final nail in the coffin. So instead of moving forward, I swallowed the bile and summoned the courage to scream. "What do you want, cat? Scram! Get out of here!" But the cat wouldn't leave. She merely lifted a paw to her mouth and began smoothing the fur on it with her triangular pink tongue. I tried to wait her out, thinking that when the vile creature was done grooming, she'd scurry on down the street. But she didn't. She just turned her uncanny eyes back toward me, and she didn't even flinch when the clouds overhead started up again with more angry grumbles. By then, the blood-pulsing and adrenaline-driven urge to run away was starting to wane. My desire to protect my family wasn't, but it wasn't being overshadowed by the impossibility of it. I had nowhere to run, and obstacles like this black cat would most definitely be waiting for me around each and every corner. What could I do but surrender? Miserably, I turned and retreated back inside. My arms hung limply at my sides as I lumbered down the empty hallway. No one seemed to have noticed I'd been missing. No doors creaked open, no heads poked out. Wink? I whispered in the dark, hoping to hear the thud of her paws on the hardwood floor. But apparently, she was still traumatized by the storm and was planning to spend the entire night in the bathtub. Alone and with spirits so low, I didn't think they could drop any further. I returned to my room. I flipped on the light switch and crawled back under the sheets, fully clothed. Eventually, even with the light on overhead, I somehow drifted off to sleep. All right, come back for the next video for chapter 7.